Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Today's podcast is sponsored by some good friends of mine, Joe's Underground in Augusta, Georgia, at the corner of 8th and Broad. Right now, they're doing what they need to do, and they've got it shut down because of this pandemic. You know, they want to see everybody, want to have fun with everybody, but don't want everybody to get sick. So, you know, they're kind of hanging out and just not able to be open right now. They are selling T-shirts and some other swag on their Facebook page. So everybody go there, Joe's Underground. Help support them that way. And when it's over, go down there and have a drink, have a party with your friends. You know, be with Jeremy and the staff. They're all such great people. And enjoy Joe's. Remember, I goes to Joe's, and so should you. The corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. I got a very special guest today, Mr. Larry Hankin. Let's get to it, boys and girls, here on Smoke Meat. Welcome to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Today, we've got such a treat. We are on the podcast with Mr. Larry Hankin. You've seen Larry in just about everything. If you haven't, you need to get a TV and a DVD player and go to the movies because he has been in everything. So without further ado, we're going to get cranked up here. How are you this morning, Larry?
So far, okay. You know, I'm getting ready to start my day here in California.
Oh man!
So it's kind of a gray day, but I think it gets sunny later on. I hear you're having problems there.
Oh yeah, we're having some storms. Going to have some worse ones later, most likely. But you know, hey, we've got the outbreak going on, so that doesn't complicate it any at all.
Right? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've been doing this self quarantine thing here at home, staying home like I'm supposed to. I've actually relegated myself to the basement to stay away from my wife and kids. And
wow.
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty. How's it doing in Georgia? I mean, you know, is it very bad? I mean, here it's okay. I live in Santa Monica, so I'm still in the house though.
yeah. Here in Georgia, it's gotten pretty bad.
Wow.
Hopefully, it's going to peak really soon and be done. I'm ready for this thing to be over. If people would just do what they're supposed to. I had to go to the grocery store, and I was one of probably 5 people that had a mask on.
Yeah, that's well, it's getting serious when people are starting to get bugged when other people don't have a mask on. Yeah, when I go out and I see people without a mask, it like bothers me. It's because it's me I'm thinking about, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I've been a paramedic 30 years. I haven't worn a mask a whole lot, but during this, I wear it with everything.
Oh, wow, paramedic. Wow, so you're working.
Well, right now I'm not, but I'm probably going to wind up in there tonight, and I'm working the rest of the week.
Yeah. Well, you know, hey, keep on trucking. You guys are heroes, man. Yeah, it's cool. Good for you. Good for us, actually.
Yeah, just one of those things, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
When I talked to Steve the other night, you know, and he told me, he said, you need to talk to Larry. He would be an awesome guest. I got so excited.
Oh, well, cool. I mean, yeah, now that I've been doing some podcasts, I start to realize there's people who actually know me. I mean, you know my work, because I just keep my head down and just, you know, do the next thing. So I don't pay much attention, but wow. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah,
for me it is.
Yeah, doing my research, you know, I knew you'd been in a lot of stuff, and I started looking. I'm like, holy crap, this guy he's been working forever and just grinding it out, and it's just awesome to see somebody with that work ethic, you know. And
well, you know, you got to pay the rent. That's pretty much the motivation in the beginning. You know, when you're young and got kind of a fire in your belly, you just don't want to get out there.
Yeah.
But after a while, you know, it's just, well, you know, I got to get another job. This one, because you know, in show business and in TV and stuff and movies, you know, it's not steady work. It's even no matter what job, no matter how great it is, it's over in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 months. But you know, so yeah, for about 3 days, you're thinking, wow, that was really great. You know, I got some money socked away. And then, there's this, after 3 days, you start to go, oh my God, that was my last job. I'll never work again. I mean, yeah, you can't help thinking that way. It's really weird.
Yeah, and that, like I say, that's what'll keep you going. I look back on this. I looked on your IMDb just to see, okay, what has he actually been in?
Yeah.
And I saw Yours, Mine, and Ours. I've been watching that movie
Wow.
since I was a kid. I never realized that
Right.
you were the bag boy in that. That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Every once in a while I'll run across it, and because in those really old movies, I'm totally removed from it. I mean, it's like watching another person. And
Mm-hmm.
I watch that and I go, holy cow, even in that, that's amazing. But I only watch my scenes. Once I get past my scene, in the old stuff, when I'm a kid. I go, yeah, well, yeah, I was pretty good. Yeah, that's okay. Then go on to something else. It's the new stuff that I watch. I'm trying to see, if I make mistakes and how I'm doing and, am I
Mm-hmm.
still doing okay? Yeah, it's kind of interesting the gigs that I have and the job that I do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what is probably, and I didn't realize that you were this guy until, once again, I read some. And it's probably one of my favorite characters in any movie, and it's probably a 2 minute part.
What is that?
Doobie.
Doobie.
I
Yeah,
love
Doobie.
Doobie.
I like Doobie. Yeah, he was kind of cool. I really wanted to do more of him in that movie. Oh, was that Trains, Planes, and Autos? Yeah.
That was it. I love Doobie.
Well, the inspiration. I mean, the reason that I liked him was because of the look. But that cab, the inside of that cab, whoever did the inside of that cab really did a job, man.
Oh, they
And he
did.
got me, whoever it was, a male or female, whatever. But every time I got in that cab, I became Doobie. There was no question. I was just surrounded by all those pictures. I don't know if they ever got a really good shot of the cab, but there was a hint of it, I know.
Mhm.
All those pictures and stuff. Yeah, that was a great cab. That was Doobie to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just the hair. Just I've known guys like that, and that's why it was so awesome. It was one of my favorite
Oh,
characters
right.
ever.
What did they call those
The
hairdos? Those
pompadours.
pompadours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a wig or that was my hair. I knew around that time I had long hair, so I don't know. But yeah, that was a cool part. But that was a cool movie. I mean, those guys were really great. Steve Martin and John Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you an interesting story about that movie actually, and Doobie. When we were in the cab doing that, that was all shot on a sound stage. We weren't driving at all. There was just guys running by. And they turned the lights out on the sound stage. They had a couple of lights inside the cab, as movies do in interiors of cabs
Mhm.
or in cars. But they had the lights turned out. So these guys, the crew members, had branches and trees and stuff that they were holding in their hand, and they were running by the car. So it gave the impression that we were passing. So it was really strange because the car itself, I don't know why they did this, but they took the wheels off. It was up on boxes in the middle of this empty sound stage, and you see crew members running by. So that was really strange, and we're doing the scene. And John Hughes, the director, was sitting on the outside of the cab on a little soapbox, a little wooden box, sitting on the outside of the passenger side in the front, and he was kind of directing. And the interesting thing, I guess, about it was after we shot the scene, as it is in the movie, he had us improvise that scene for about a half a day, for about at least 5 hours. We were just improvising, and he would. The amazing thing about John is we improvised for about 2 or 3 hours, and then he went up into. I guess there's a room where you can watch a TV set, but
Mhm.
there was a huge sound stage, and way upstairs, there was about four stories of clear space, and he was up there somewhere in some little storeroom, and he was talking to us on a little microphone inside the cab. so he could see us, but we couldn't see him. And he then told us to combine the dialogue as it was in the script with the improvs. And we had been improvising for about 2 or 3 hours at least, so we didn't remember what we were doing, but he did. John Hughes remembered every improv that we did, and he was saying, "Well, no, John, John Candy, you said this in one of the improvs, but then follow it with what's on the script, and then Larry, you just keep improvising, and Steve, you said this when he said that." I mean, it was just amazing. This guy, memorized at least 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours of improv. But when the movie came out, as you saw it, as we all saw it, there was none of the improvisation. That's all as written. And then about 3 years later, I was doing another movie with Christopher Columbus called She's Having a Baby, which was John Hughes, but directed by him. And he came up to me and he said, the director, Chris, came up to me and he said, "Hey, that was really a great little film short you and John and Steve did." And I go, "What film short?" He said, "Well, there was a big party at John Hughes' house. Somebody was having a birthday. I guess it was his kid. He invited everybody over. So at the end of the evening, he showed us this film short about you who were a cab driver, and there was a Steve and John Candy, and it was from the movie Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. But it was just a film short, and it was really funny." I said, "That was the improv they did." It was, because the scene in the movie was only about 2 or 3 minutes of Doobie, but the film show was 10 minutes. So obviously he used all the improv, and I've never seen it. I'd love to be able to see what that film short was. I met Chris Columbus and I asked him about it. I said, "You saw that movie, right, at John's house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, where is it? Can we see it?" And he said, "No, I've never seen it again, except for the people at the party. Nobody's ever seen it." And then John Candy passed, and I have not been able to get in touch with his wife. But I'd love, if anybody out there, for some strange reason, saw that film short, I'd love to see it. Oh, man, but yeah, that's the story of that film, actually.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be...
Yeah.
Man,
because I mean, those two guys are really funny, man. When you let them go, I mean, I worked in Second City for a couple of years, so I know how to improvise. But they're pros. I mean, they're really loose. I was really amazed, actually, because they're actors and they were stand-up comedians. But under John Hughes, kind of direction and saying, do this, do that, or concentrate on that, whatever. Yeah, it was really amazing. So John Hughes is really an amazing guy, and so is Steve and John Candy.
Yeah, I mean, you just looking back, the people that you have worked with. I mean, just man.
Yeah.
And you're so down to earth, and it's just man, it's awesome that you are who you are, and a lot of people would have this resume and go, "Well, you'll have to speak to 50 people to speak to me for 30 seconds." But
yeah.
I remember calling you the other day. You're like, "Cool, let's do it," and that was amazing.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean that's in other words, but I'm from Far Rockaway. I'm not from Hollywood, so that's who you're talking to. And when and the stories that I have, and all these movies, I'm really and I like it this way, is that I'm a kid from Far Rockaway. Who you can't get Far Rockaway out of me. I don't think you can get Georgia out of you. I mean, you just grow up, and that's what you and who you are. So it makes my making movies more interesting. Is I'm not caught up in that, but I'm caught up in what I'm looking at and where I am and how did I get here. So that's where I'm at when I'm on a set. It's holy cow, man. I got to tell the guys about this. It's a story you take back Not that, hey, I'm here and I'm in a movie. It's, wow, man, wait until tell my buddies about this.
Yeah,
You know, so
exactly.
it keeps you grounded. It keeps you grounded. You know, because yeah, I really hold on to that really hard. I really do.
Man, that's one thing that just makes you so great, and I understand what you're saying about the stories because I've actually been in two movies.
Oh wow, good for you, man.
Don't applaud too hard. I was background, but remember a movie called Fled? It it was
Spell it. What was it called?
FLED. It had Lawrence
Oh,
Fishburne and
Sled.
Stephen
No,
Baldwin.
no. Was John Candy in it?
No, it was with Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin. It was a like a prison break movie.
Oh no, I never saw it.
Yeah, we were the background medics in a prison break scene,
Oh right,
and they
okay,
needed
cool,
somebody to. They said, "Well, we need a paramedic over here," and I've never shied away from anything, so I went over there and I was in a couple of scenes, and
cool. Did you have any lines?
I had no lines, but
Oh darn.
the coolest part about it is Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne probably bummed a whole pack of cigarettes from me through the whole thing while we were there. Because he couldn't carry him in his prison jumpsuit, for the movie, and I always had
Oh
cigarettes, and
wow, that's really
he'd walk
funny.
up, yo man, let me get a square. Well, okay, here you go. I mean, what am I going to do? Tell Lawrence Fishburne? No, it was awesome. And I got to meet so many neat people, and that's what I took away from it was the parts like that.
Yeah, see, so but that's what I hold on to. You know, really, I because I see what it. Well, it's just that I don't know. You know, it doesn't. Where you're from doesn't do anything from you, for you, or against you. It's where you're from. Well, they're from there.
Yeah,
You know, and it's just a little, you know. Okay, here's the thing. After years of doing movies in Hollywood, the movie part of it, not the suburbs and where people live, but the movie part of it and the business part of it, I always start to think of it as my parents. I never got along with my parents. You know, I was always kind of a rebel. You know, outside, an outsider, and no, I don't want to do that, and blah blah blah.
yeah,
But when I got to Hollywood, that's all there are, people who are like your parents. So, yeah, and so that kept me from getting lost in it,
mm-hmm.
because it was always, oh man, I got to tell, Carl about this, or about this guy, or about how he lost it, or about John Candy, or about Steve Martin, or about John Hughes, what kind of guys they are. I mean, because back in Far Rockaway, there's not too many of those guys. They are Steve Martin and John Candy. They do have some kind of I don't know, genius for being funny. That's not in my high school, not in my college. So it's just still to this day it blows my mind with the talent that I'm faced with.
Yeah,
And they get like PO'd if you forget. Like Bryan Cranston got mad at me because I blew a couple of lines. Hey man, get your shit together.
mm-hmm.
Okay, man. Uh, so yeah, I mean, that's my reality,
Yeah,
and I hold on to it because it makes funny stories. You know, they don't have. Well, I don't know. When they're working, they're professionals, and I don't blame them. When you work, you're a professional too. I mean, there's that going on, and I do try to learn from that. Just be a pro, man.
that's it.
That's all.
And on the being professional part, I've just kind of I've been the guy that had the pressed uniform and was everything used the big words. You're diaphoretic instead of hey man, you're sweating.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And that seems professional, but over the years I've found my style, and I figured out people respond to you're sweating better than the big word,
Oh,
and
right.
I'm me, and like I say that just works so much better.
Oh,
People
yeah,
know I'm
because
all
they know
business,
you're.
but they know I'm one of them, and it works great.
Yeah, exactly. It really does. It gets me to in a little bit of trouble because not only am I trying to be real, whatever, because it works in front of the camera. By the way,
Yeah,
acting is just being as real as you can be. So, but yeah, I mean, there is a yeah, I learn a lot. and I'm there to learn. I guess that's why I work so much. Is
Mm-hmm.
I just try to be better. So if there's somebody who, well, like John or Steve or Bryan Cranston, if I'm working with Bryan Cranston or somebody like that, or I was directed by John Huston, man, I just keep my mouth shut and I just try to. This guy knows stuff that I probably need to know. On the other hand, I'm dyslexic, and that kind of gets in the way. So I get in a lot of trouble too,
Yeah.
because I misinterpret a lot of things people are saying. So, but it's you cope with it. There's ways of getting around it. I mean, if you're dyslexic. By the way, I didn't know this. I just found this out. One out of five or one out of seven people are dyslexic. I didn't know that. And when I was a kid, there was no such thing as dyslexia,
Yeah.
which it just means that you just think different. I mean, it's a different wiring system, but it's not. It doesn't make you smarter or dumber. It's just you think different. So I get in a lot of trouble on the set, which makes for funny stories, after time goes by. but it does make funny stories, Like when Brian got mad at me for blowing lines, which I thought, well, I got ADHD, I got dyslexic, that's why I'm blowing lines. It's just something, but I don't do it too often. And
Mm-hmm.
I do study my lines more than other people. So when he started to kind of get passive aggressive, like he wouldn't look at me when I was, working in front of the camera, it just, kind of ignoring me because I was going up on my lines.
Mm-hmm.
I excused myself. I said, "Oh, just can I talk to the director for just a second?" I walk out of the scene. I go over to the director. I just got to ask you something. Is it okay to curse on your program? Well, all right, you can bleep me out. But I went over to the
Oh,
director and
yeah,
I
it's
said,
fine.
"Look."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yes, he said. I went over to the director and I said, "Look, man, I'm new here. I mean, Bryan Cranston, he knows what he's doing, but he's really getting passive aggressive at me. He won't feed me his lines. He won't look at me because I'm going up on my lines. So, am I holding things up? Am I doing something wrong?" And the director says, "Well, two things, Larry. One is all actors go up on their lines. And two is, fuck Cranston, we're losing the light. Get back in the scene and let's work, okay?" And I
I like
thought,
that
okay,
director.
man. Yeah, I mean, okay. Then he just took the kibosh off of me, and I just went in, and I never blew another line the rest of the day. I mean, it's just
I,
that boy when a star, like Cranston, it gives you a heat. It really makes you nervous. Even though I'd been around for a while, I've done a lot of work, and still he got me nervous.
yeah.
But thank God for there's somebody like the. See, that's the thing about directors. They don't direct. Al Pacino. I read a lot of working actors what they have to say about the craft. So I'm really interested in that. I'm into process.
Yeah.
Um, so I read a lot, and Al Pacino once said, the reason that I go with a director or not, if I respect a director or not, is in what he is really. And he says, if a director is directing, that's not really a great director. And I know because I've worked with a lot of really cool guys like John Huston. He said a great director doesn't direct. What he does is he's a safety net. He says, because Al Pacino was saying that. He said, I like to take chances. That's how I act. I just go out there, and I just go for something. And the job I with directors that I like to work with, he said, they're my safety net. If I just go too far out, they pull me back. They send me they give me kind of like a rope or something. I guess it was like the director who said, "Hey, get back in there. We're losing the light. The hell with him."
Mm-hmm.
He kind of gave me back my center.
Yeah.
He didn't direct me. He didn't say, "Well, do it this way." He just gave me a shot, to wake me up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Al Pacino was talking about, is because all the great directors like John Huston, John Hughes, they don't direct you. They just give you little hints as to like, well, when we were improvising, he goes, well, talk about the steering wheel a little. He doesn't say what to do with it. He just says, talk about that, or talk about how where you're going, or but he doesn't say do this or do that or be this or be that. And all the directors are like, even somebody like I worked with, Larry David.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't direct you. I mean, and he's really cool, man. Larry David
Oh,
is
he,
really
he
funny.
seems like he'd be cooler than the other side of my pillow.
Cooler than what?
The other side of my pillow?
Oh well, yeah, he's great. He's so like for him when I was doing what was that, Tom Pepper,
Mm-hmm.
the guy with the raisins.
Yeah.
Well, what was in my mind when I was doing that part, Tom Pepper, was he was so angry on the page, the way it was written.
Mm-hmm.
It was a kind of an angry guy, like I don't want to talk about any kind of dried fruit. That was one of his lines. I thought, okay, I'm going to go against it. I'm going to go Buster Keaton. I'm going to not do anything. I'm just going to be blank and let the character, his blankness, be the funny part of his anger. And it worked. I auditioned that way. I got the part.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the set and we're doing the scene. I'm doing it with Costanza. And Larry David's not saying anything. He's not directing. He stands off on the side. There is a real director, but he's just a traffic cop. He just says where the camera should go and where you should stand, but he doesn't really direct. Larry David stands on the side, and if he has anything to say, he'll say, Tom, let me just talk to, Seinfeld. He'll walk up, he'll pull you aside, which is kind of nice. He doesn't talk to you in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Pulls you aside, and he goes, blah, 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 and he whispers to you. So it's kind of cool. It's private. So I was thinking, gee, when is he going to talk to me like that? Like he's talking to Seinfeld, talk about the character and everything. Finally I see him, he comes over to me. He says, I want to talk to Larry. And I go, okay, cool. He's going to pull me aside and tell me great gems of acting wisdom. He pulls me aside and he goes, I know what you're trying to do. And he's like this, got this attitude. He goes, I know what you're trying to do. I go, and so I give him an attitude back. I mean, I have no compunction about that. We're just two people here. He goes, so I go, okay. What am I trying to do? And he goes, you're trying to do nothing. And it blew my mind because that's exactly what I was trying to do. And I go, oh, wow. I mean, he was so surprised to go, oh, wow, right. Yeah. And all he does is he says, well, he says, well, you're doing something. And he walked away. And I thought, that's the greatest piece of directing I've ever had. That's great, man. So I said, okay, cool, yeah. I said, I love it. So I said, okay, so now in my head I'm going, oh, cool. All right, just even bring it back more, less. Mm-hmm. And so, I do it again. And he starts heading towards me. So as soon as the director yells, cut, I see him walking towards me, and I go, oh, man, I still do. But he doesn't stop. He's walking too fast, so I figure he's going to talk to somebody behind me. He's going to pass me right by. And he does. And as he passes me, he just whispers as he goes by, you're still doing it. And boom, and he's gone. I go, okay. And then we did it again, and it was fine. But, I mean, see, the great directors know how to tap into where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their... Yeah, I mean, just like the director with Brian, he just saw I was upset, and he just knocked that out of me. Cool. Yeah, and that's the fun part where you learn something, right? It's instant learning, instant karma. You go, wow, okay. Less is more, always. Be real. Do. Anyway, that's those guys.
Hey, I've been doing stand up for forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never gotten big. I've always just done it to have fun and make people laugh. And
yeah,
here in the last several months, I've decided I want to try a little bit of acting. I've been doing some characters on YouTube.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, and you should check out my channel. It's Brad's Comedy on YouTube. It's all one word, no apostrophe.
Cool. Okay, I will.
But the only character I actually knew who he was going to be was the clown guy. And I'm actually a certified clown also. I used to teach fire safety as a clown.
Cool. You're in show business. Yeah. You are in show business.
Yeah, and my first clown, this was his voice. His name was Murray, and he talked like this.
Holy cow! I do a character named Murray.
And
I did it for years. Wow, that's
oh,
cool.
Murray is a horrible clown. I had to stop using him because his voice lends itself to cussing really, really bad. I was scared I was going to get on stage and go, "Don't play with fire, you little bastards."
Well, I mean, but I use that voice too. You know, like this. It's a guy like this. How you
Yeah.
doing? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and but the other characters I've got probably 6 or 7 now. I didn't know
Wow.
who they were or anything about them until I put on the wig or the mustache or whatever.
Right.
And I got in front of the camera and they just came out. It's like they were in me and all of a sudden, boom. And everything I do is improv and it was all one take.
Cool.
And
But you know, that's like who was the guy who did? He was in Five Easy Pieces, and he was the Batman for a while. And he did, and he was married to John Huston's daughter. But anyway, he said something that taught me a whole lot in an interview. One of the guys he did Batman, and there was another actor who was going to do the next Batman. So that actor came to this actor that I'm talking about, who had done Batman already, and he said, "Look, man, you know, we're in rehearsals now for the Batman movie, and I'm wearing this costume, which is huge and very heavy. It masks me totally, the face and everything." He says, "How the hell do you act in a suit like that, man? You know, you just lost under all that." And this guy already did Batman. He said, "You don't act." He said, "You let the suit do the acting."
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about, man. And it's with me, too. Once I get in costume, the character comes. Sometimes there's a movie where, you know the guy, the actor who plays Columbo?
Yeah, Peter Falk.
Peter Falk, yeah. He's in this movie and he's playing an actor, and there's a scene where the actor is in the costume department trying on his costume, which is just a suit. So he's got a suit on, and he's now the character in the movie that he's playing, the character that the actor is playing in the movie, wears a fedora. And Peter Falk, in the scene, in the costume department, in front of a mirror, has about 10 hats. And the scene is just Peter Falk looking in the mirror and putting on these different kind of fedoras, and you know, snapping the brim down or putting it up, or he take the next. And the scene is about, I don't know, maybe a minute or two long, but it's a very long scene for no talking. It's just Peter Falk looking in the mirror, trying on these hats while a costume guy is just standing there silently watching him, waiting for him to, you know, pick out the right hat. And finally he does, and he just puts on the hat, and he kind of, you know, clicks it down a little over his eyes, and he goes, "Yeah, this one." And he walks away. And after that, that was always what I would do in a costume department when I put on my hat, you know, just study it and get in. But you're right. The costume gives you the character. It's really weird.
You know, my second character, I sat down and I got a notebook and I wrote and planned this guy out, his whole backstory.
Right.
He was going to be the overzealous high school football guy that doesn't have kids or never played.
Cool.
Everybody knows that guy.
Yeah.
When I put his hair on, his hair's kind of the gray comb over of the Georgia or the Southern football coach.
Oh, it's like who's it? The
Jerry
Southern president, the Southern president.
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, like his hair.
Yep, but it's gray.
Yeah. Right.
And when I put that on, he stopped being the guy who kept trying to play football at that age, and turned into. You remember in the '80s, every football team had the coaches show on Sunday morning on the TV.
Oh yeah.
He turned into that guy without his own team. And his voice just kind of popped out. He's Coach Dan Graham, and he does
Yeah,
it all,
right.
He does it all for the kids, you know, just for the kids. And
Sounds like Amos Ansley.
Yeah, he has been one of my best characters.
I'm sure it's. I mean, just the voice is pretty funny.
Yeah, I've got a friend who has ordered me some things off Amazon, some of the challenges through all this, and one of them is Bean Boozled Extreme, which Bean Boozled is the Jelly Belly jelly beans that you spin a wheel and you get a color, and it's either a really good one or it tastes like something horrible. Well, the extreme one has none of the good ones in it. So I'm going to have to do a video of the coach doing something while eating these jelly beans. So that's
Oh man, that sounds pretty funny. I mean, I'm gonna go watch it. But no, I mean, if you got something that you're into that far and into that much, yeah, you should do that regularly, man. There's a lot of people who got these blogs or video vlogs, I guess they're
yeah,
called.
yeah.
And yeah, do that regularly. You get a good following. That's a pretty funny character,
Yeah,
man.
we.
I mean, just as opposed to, I mean, what I've learned is doing 5 or 6 or 7 characters. I mean, because I was a stand-up comedian too, so I was opening for Woody Allen and Miles Davis and stuff. I was a hip guy, but doing 5 or 6 or 7 different characters is cool, and it keeps you going. But if you can narrow it down to like 2 or 3 or 1 great characters or character, yeah, you start to like really get into it and start to build them out. They become really solid and real. So, but that guy sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny to me.
I've got 3 that I'm doing really, really a lot of with now. I've got
Yeah,
the
exactly.
coach. I've got Chef Rupert, and his voice is like this, and he's got a handlebar mustache and wears a do rag, and he is awesome. I did a video with him last week. I made some really hot meatballs with like the Reaper pepper and those things in it.
Yeah.
And I read the story, Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber. And that,
Wow, where did you get that story from?
I've seen people have been reading it on Facebook of all places, and I actually posted it. I did it live on Facebook and actually stayed in character while I ate these ungodly meatballs.
Holy cow. Well, okay, so let me ask you about that story. Well, why are people reading it on Facebook? What is it?
Just people are bored with the quarantine and everything.
Oh. So, I mean, but what's the name of the story? I mean, it sounds interesting. I want to read it all of a sudden. What's it called?
Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber. It's supposed to be a children's book.
Yeah, okay. Princess Beaver Needs a Barber?
No, Brenda's Beaver.
Oh, Glinda's
Brenda.
Beaver. Brenda.
Yeah.
Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's pretty, yeah. So and kids are yet supposedly, wow, that's good disguise.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, no wonder they're reading it on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can get away with that.
Yeah. And it is hilarious, but I stayed in character through the whole thing.
Wow. Well, now I got to see that. Now
Yeah, and
I got to see it.
I actually sent you a friend request, so it's on my timeline.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love just doing those things, knowing I'm probably not going to reach a whole lot of people. It's never probably going to take off huge, but I understand why you do what you do because it's fun. It's what you are.
Yeah, it is. But about that and what you just said about not many people say that's not what the important thing is. That's called branding now. Mm-hmm. But what's important is you like doing it and keep on doing it. Doing it is the thing. And if it's really good enough and you really like it, if you're really into it. No, people start picking it up and they start reading it on Facebook, and it starts getting out there or tuning in. Yeah. I mean, like my website, I just keep on putting stuff up there that I like. I got paintings. I got my videos. I make little, instead of doing these podcasts with characters like you do, I got one character, Emmett, and I put him on my website, thereallarryhankin.com. Yeah. But basically, I'm doing the same thing as you're doing because I don't like just working for other people. I like doing my own stuff, my original stuff, like my stand-up. So yeah, I mean, but I just keep doing it and telling people about it, and it'll build. If it's worthwhile and if it's worthy, it'll build. But that's not why I do it, to make it worthy. I just do it because I love doing it, man.
Yeah, I enjoy the little process. I mean, I do it in front of a green screen here in my basement.
Oh wow, I'd love to have a green screen. That's one of the things I miss. When I was doing stuff in my own house, in my own apartment here, but I was wishing I had a green screen. I tried to set it up, but it really didn't work too well. Because do you have a green screen, an actual green screen, or did you jerry rig it?
Yeah, I actually have an actual green screen. When this is over, I'll send you a link to a list I'll make for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. I want a green screen. I really do.
Yeah, oh,
If you
it's
can,
so much fun.
oh yeah, because you can then put anything behind there. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When I was experimenting, and it didn't turn out because what I did is I bought in a cloth store where you buy these bolts of material.
oh yeah,
I bought a green, a couple of yards of green material, but it's not the same as a screen.
yeah,
It shows up grainy as green. It didn't work, so I just gave up.
yeah,
But yeah, I'd like to send away for it.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
cool.
make you a list and send it to you. You will.
Cool.
It's so much fun to do it like that. And apparently, the right person, did see one of my videos
Yeah.
because right before all of this hit, I got an email about 3 o'clock one morning, and somebody had sent me some sides from a TV pilot and asked me to audition for it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I taped an audition. It was actually for two different parts. I taped those, and of course, all this hit, so everything's at a standstill. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I
Well,
must have
see, there you go.
I must have gotten it because that's the only way all this would hit and halt production on everything if I have a shot to get on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering about that. Here I live in Hollywood. Well, I live in Santa Monica, but
Yeah,
it's near it.
yeah,
And I just wonder how they're making these shows. The TV shows. How do you do that? Because everybody's supposed to be quarantined and wearing masks. How do they? Are they just doing reruns? I mean, I don't watch TV too much.
yeah,
So I don't really watch the regular shows. I watch, like Nova and stuff which doesn't have actors in it, information kind of stuff, news and stuff. But even the news people are, they're 6 feet apart. They're doing it from their own apartments, and
yeah.
but I wonder how the TV shows. I don't know. Do you watch television?
I,
There must be turning them out, but how are they doing it? I don't know.
I watch
Really weird.
I watch some. I mainly watch a lot of online stuff, but I'm curious about that too. The fall season's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're doing reruns because I don't pay attention to the regular shows, so I don't know if I'm watching a rerun or it's a new show.
Yeah,
So I just tune out. I mean, I'll watch it for 10 seconds. So I just can't. My mind doesn't focus that quickly. There has to be some information there. There has to be something. There has to be a reason why I'm watching this.
yeah,
You know, if I'm writing a screenplay now. So yeah, I'll watch it if there's like a relationship there that I can use in the screenplay. So I'll watch to see the dialogue and what the writer is doing. But other than that, if there's nothing interesting, yeah, I just watch information stuff mainly.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. When I was a kid, we had three channels, and if the president was on, that's what you were watching.
Yeah, right. Well, when I was a kid too, that's exactly. There wasn't that much. But now, and I did watch for a while, a couple of years ago. But no, I mean, I just rather do something else than watch TV.
Yeah,
It doesn't interest me that much, really. But also, I'm also writing my own stuff now. I write my own. Well, like you, I'm basically we're doing the exact same thing. The difference is I'm in an area where people get paid a lot of money to do what you're doing. If you lived in Hollywood, you'd probably doing it for some small cable channel.
hmm
They would because you're right here and you have the availability of just showing it to people or just getting on the phone or knowing somebody just in a supermarket, meeting them. I have a friend who's a writer, but what he does, and he's written books, but he sells them himself.
hmm
He'll what he does is he goes out on the beach here. He goes down and he just walks on the beach with a bag full of books, like about 10 books of his. And he just approaches anybody on the beach who's reading a book, on their blanket. And he'll go up to them and he'll try to sell them his book or leave it with them. But or give him a card to go buy the book in a bookstore because you read books but that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And the beach that he walks around on mainly is Malibu, where all the stars live and the big, high,
Yeah.
high muckamucks are.
Oh yeah.
Well, he hands his books to people who call him back, and you don't have access, but he does because they're on the beach outside, and they call him, and he gets gigs that way. So in
Nice.
other words, he's doing exactly what you're doing, but he's he's walking in a place where people who can help him are available. The
Nice.
beach. I mean, yeah, and he keeps on telling me that's what I should do. But I have my own context. That's another reason why I'll do movies now. It's not so much because I want to do them.
Mm-hmm.
I've got enough coming in from residuals where I can sort of, pay my bills and raise the money that I want.
You're probably
I
still
just,
getting
it does,
residuals from Alf.
excuse me, say that again?
You're probably still getting residuals from Alf because you know.
Yeah, I mean, those are about like, I think they go up and down.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get a check for like, I was getting checks from Disney. I don't know, I can't even remember what I did for 2 cents. I would get a check for 2 cents. But for
Nice.
Alf, probably it's like, it goes from like $10 to, then it goes up to maybe 100, or it's in the hundreds, and then it goes back down,
Mm-hmm.
depending on. It's a scale. It goes one show, the next show a little higher, 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 higher,
Mm-hmm.
then down and down and down, then up and up and up and down and down. So yeah, but I still get them, and yeah, that's what I'm living on is
Yeah.
residuals. And I do also Cameo. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with
Yeah.
Cameo. Yeah, well, I do that, so that's another. It's not a residual, but it's a payment.
Yeah.
It's so I can live in my apartment and do what you're doing, which is but I make little films instead of in my apartment with a green screen. Frankly, if I had a green screen, I'd be doing them in my apartment. I
Mm-hmm.
swear. But I get a friend, I get a guy, or a cameraman,
Mm-hmm.
and we go out and we'll shoot a little thing, and I put them up on my website. Yeah, and they're on the Vimeo. They're all over as a matter of fact, even on YouTube. I guess you're on YouTube too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I research or search your name on Google,
Yeah.
no, I mean on YouTube, I'll see your stuff. But if you put my name in there, you'll see my stuff.
Yeah.
It's equal. It's great. YouTube is great.
No, I love it. I never thought when I was growing up, one, I'd be videoing myself, and two, that it could be out there like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was no digital. There was no. I had little 8 millimeter, little 8 millimeter cameras when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Little plastic wheels. The reel to reel, little
Mm-hmm.
3-inch plastic wheels, and a Super 8 film, and I would edit them. Sit in my bedroom and edit films all day. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the same thing. Now that I'm
Yeah.
grown.
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
when I get off here, I'll sit down and put together a list, and I'll send it to you because I'd love to see some of your green screen stuff. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted it for. I tried it about 2 years ago, and then I like I say, the experiment didn't work,
Yeah.
so I just gave it up, and I just started saving up money and just hiring a cinematographer and
Oh,
going out and doing it.
I can get you set up for less than $300.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. But you got to do what you got to do, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm also quirky, and that I got to do it my way.
Yeah.
Even if it's I look, I don't. Thank you, because people will come up and always they're giving you ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and in the beginning it's kind of cool. Oh, thank you for the help. But once you start saying, oh well, yeah, that's a good idea, then everybody's got an idea, and then it starts to be a little, well, okay, thank you, and you start to like get shy about accepting. I mean, because I guess what it is everybody has ideas, but nobody does them.
Yeah.
So as soon as somebody sees somebody doing something, ooh, I can give them my ideas. Let me dump them on this person.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
but here in Hollywood, I guess everybody literally is writing a screenplay. Everybody.
Mhm.
So in other words, everybody has an idea, but nobody knows what to do with what you typed out.
Yeah.
YouTube is a little help, but sometimes you get something and it's 10 pages long, and then what do you do then?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, Larry, I tell you, I've had a ball sitting here talking to you, man, and I
well,
feel like
cool,
we've made a
man.
good friend. This is awesome.
Well, cool. Well, anytime you want to talk, I'm here.
Yeah.
Cool. It's been enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I've had a great time. I know you got a bunch of stuff to do today. It's Easter.
Oh yeah, what are you
Yeah.
going to do about Easter?
Well, the Easter Bunny came here and gave everybody their
I mean,
baskets this
yeah, I
morning.
mean, do you think people are going to go to churches and stuff, and
They're
gather or not?
they're not letting them down here.
Oh yeah, they're not let
Yeah.
them here too. Well, that's good. Be safe.
Yeah.
That's a major thing. Well, okay, it's
Yeah.
great talking to you.
It's,
It really is.
it was great talking to you, Larry. I,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
appreciate it
thanks,
so much.
Brett.
Anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome to, my friend.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, well, I get some stuff up on my website,
Yeah.
thereallarryhankin.com. Yeah, I'm going to put some new stuff up. It's coming, and I got maybe some writing that I'm going to put up there and some new stuff. So yeah, I'll give you a call. But thanks a lot, Brad.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Larry.
Okay, bye.
Bye.